Which language do you understand? How you communicate? To conduct a preliminary inquiry. It's basically to determine the route that this matter is supposed to take. So for that session, the foreign persons are required. So we need the office of the ODPP. So we have Ms. Marty present. She's representing the ODPP, and since the offences are against the state, she's also the complainant, or a representative of the complainant. Okay. We have Ms. Neranga. She's from the Children Office. We have Ms. Mongangi from the Probation Office. Then the two subjects are supposed to have counsel present. That is why you're here, counsel.
Yes, sir.
We're supposed to have a parent or a guardian representing the two subjects. So I've been informed that the mothers of the two minors are present here in court. Okay. So before undertaking a preliminary inquiry, there are some reports I had requested that they be prepared in advance. Maybe you can be told about those reports from the two officers that were required to file the reports.
Your Honor, with your permission, Ms. Naranga, Children's Officer, our report was filed from the Sub-County Children's Office.
That sets us back because that report is actually one of the most crucial reports that you need. That report is also to do with the background of these minors.
We also confirmed that the children, the subjects rather, did a letter to the complainant, the Director of Public Prosecutions, and I did speak to Ms. Marty this morning, who informed me she had not received that letter. But I did share with her the letter, and we have relied on the International Convention on Children's Protection, and relied on the Constitution and the Children Rights of Courts to urge the DPP to do something else. So we will request the court to indulge us and also have that letter also be considered by the complainant, either in a response now or later.
Respond to Mr. Nyaribo's concern and then to visit the issue of Ms. Mongangi's report. Your Honor, the head of the Children's Division acknowledged receipt of the letter by Mr. Nyaribo. I would say this in summary, Mr. Nyaribo was requesting the DPP not to charge the subjects. But the DPP who I represent was of the view that the offences that the two subjects have been charged with are serious offences against the state, and we should proceed and take it. I feel putting the subjects in custody for a longer period as we wait for approbation reports will be seriously opposed by Mr. Nyaribo, as it amounts to prolonged pretrial detention. So our request is that we proceed with the plea and then pursue whatever other options are available in law later.
Has been placed before a judicial officer. That matter is fully in consideration and in control of this court. I agree with my sister when she says that keeping the young subjects longer incarcerated is not countenanced by our Constitution nor the Children's Act. That is a fact. But purporting to suggest that the subjects have to be charged for them to be properly processed would amount to an abuse of the court process. This court is alive to the fact that these are young, these are minors. And you know, the best objective proposal would be then the court would exercise its discretion to decide and determine how to handle these minor subjects in view of the fact that now there are persons in court who are vouching for the children, who are their guardians, who may be present to assist the court with any information required. Well, I'm alive to the fact that the preliminary inquiries demanded by this court might take longer than anticipated. Why? Because the probation officer is saying she has only now learned of the request from this court, or the directive from this court. She needs to interact with the parents of the children, the guardians. She needs to understand their immigration status, if they are non-Kenyans, if they are migrants. And yet, these are minors who are taking cover in a friendly country. So it is. You know, what if, in the end, after the preliminaries, this court finds that it may not be that we subject them to a criminal plea, and yet they would have taken the plea. So that justice is not only done but appears to be done. I agree with the TPP when the TPP suggests that keeping minors longer than this would amount to abuse of their rights. My proposal, Your Honor, would be that these children be placed under bond of this court, under the bail terms of this court. This happens all the time. Even the DPP allows the National Police Service to issue bonds to suspects when they are arrested, as long as the police or the court can satisfy itself of where to find their minors, and if they can report to this court at the time when they are required. So, Your Honor, looking at the fact that the investigations and reports might take a little bit longer than expected, the probation officer is not saying when exactly, at what time she will present the report. It's not a matter she can determine on her own, because it's an inquiry, and then she presents a report. So, Your Honor, I urge the court to then find that the children, the young people, or the subjects, as the DPP calls them, can be released to their parents and guardians at this stage. You know, that's what is expected of the international law in terms of protecting subjects who are in need of protection by a host country. I don't want to make a long speech, Your Honor, in terms of reciprocity, but the DPP is aware that this also happens when we are found as Kenyans in another country. We are given the same treatment. If we say, I'm afraid of my country, I want to do ABC, we are protected as long as we come before the court of law. So in this,
saying that they are in Kenya seeking protection.
No, I'm saying these are minors. In fact, even understanding that question would require that we discuss with the parents and guardians, and that is the process you have already directed. At this juncture, the way they were arrested, watching a football game and probably in the emotional intensity, tampering with the national flag, we require to know then exactly why they did that, and you have already directed that, the probation officer and child officer file a report. I will also be making a request, Your Honor, that we also have access to the report for our consumption as the subjects. That's what.
File opened parallel to this
Yes, Your Honor. The protection and care plans, one for each of the minors is within.
I note from the children officers' reports, they're not very express. These children have not been going to school. Whether or not they will take plea, my answer is no, they will not. Because the Children Act provides that the criminal justice system is last resort. First, once it fails, that is when we go. Ms. Mwangangi, how soon can we get your report? That report is the one that is delaying. I'm still not having picture on the release of the minors. I've looked at the children officer's report to see whether we can make any progress on the matter. So we start with
Yes, Your Honor. Mwalimu's mother is resident in Isili and is present in the court. If she can provide a copy of her identification document, we are not opposed to the minor being released straight out. We do, however, pray that the court compels her to return to school.
Dean is the one who was enrolled to Germany. My instructions were to actually oppose bond for the sake of, number one, safety of the subjects. Number two, the third count, their status.
Jan, I don't know how, by the children's support officer, who is it?
The issue was release of the subjects to their mother,
yes,
pending plea taking.
it's not pending.
Okay.
I want you to forget that word. Before we get to a point where we are saying we are taking plea,
Pending
we have
preliminary
a
inquiry.
whole journey to take.
Okay.
Yeah.
The position which have been prepared, and so their release at this stage would not be, I'm looking for the proper language. The release of this stage would I believe to some extent, frustrate the cause of justice, in the sense that the state intends to, yes, uphold the rights of children, but at the same time, get them to take plea. I mean, get them to plead yes or no to these charges. I was really hoping that plea would be taken to this so we could move to the next step.
Saying, looking at that, Mina, I've been in practice for quite a while. The conditions for release under bail are totally different from what she's alluding to. Suppose if they even took a plea today, then this court will entertain issues like flight risk, whether they will tamper with evidence. If we were to go as per their charge sheet. So, Your Honor, this is a children's court. There are persons here who are saying these are our children, these are our children. And being this age, they may not even be allowed to travel, alone, especially for 13-year-old. So the liability and responsibility would be, once the probation officer confirms this is the mother, this is the guardian, there will be a responsibility attached to the parents who are before this court to ensure that if this court in its wisdom releases the children to the parents, they can be brought to this court for the inquiry that is going on. You can see the DPP struggling with the word plea because that's their fault. I mean, that's how they operate. They are here to charge and let the minors respond. But we all know, Your Honor, that is really just to deal with one arm of the institution. The bigger picture here, Your Honor, is we have all understood these children have discredited the flag. They haven't said no, even to me, but they have explained the intensity of emotions at that moment. And this happens in football, but the issue for the court now is to inquire, what are these children doing? Where are they going to school? If they are not going to school, why can't they go? They must go to school. They are minors. How are they here? Do they have status? All these things. If my learned friend wants to address immigration issues, again, those will be other issues to come, either in this forum as a tertiary or a branch of what we are investigating in, or that is an immigration issue that can be, somebody will come from immigration and testify and do all those kind of things. Your Honor, I plead with the court to disregard these sentiments of the TPP to incarcerate young subjects of this age longer than today and release them to their parents who are in court and order the parents to produce them at any time. I also can vouch for bringing them to this court from the source of my instructions on how I met the children, what the father in South Africa and another one the father is in Germany. I can more or less 50-60% confirm to this court that I will ensure that through the same channel these children will be brought to the court or be taken to the children's officer or to the probation officer for the correct inquiries. And Your Honor, once this inquiry is completed, if there is charging, we have no issue to fight on that. If then there will be other directions of this court, we will abide by them. But just clinging on to them to go to.
Let me clear something. Bring me a charge sheet. That's actually what they're supposed to bring.
Yes, that's their forte, I see.
That is actually what they're supposed to bring to court, a charge sheet. But then what happens, unlike a normal criminal trial, is that plea is not the first step in a children's matter. A preliminary inquiry is the first step. Plea is probably the second step after the preliminary inquiry is held.
Sure. And I'm guided accordingly, thank you.
Now, as to whether or not to release the two subjects, I have to consider the third count that they have been charged with. Although we've not read the charges, there is a reason why they are here. And the third count is that they are being alleged to be unlawfully present in the country. Now, that count makes things a bit complicated, I would say.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may, there is also the particulars in the first count. The issue has drawn huge public interest, and I believe that's the reason we have cameras in the children's court. It doesn't happen. So this is an issue which has drawn a lot of interest, and it's an issue which I would say members of the public are pursuing. So as much as I am very overzealous about prosecuting the subjects, I'm also concerned about their safety. That is all we are relying on in our objection to their release to their parents at this stage.
Yes, it's very complicated to point for, we have a national police service. They take care of us, they take care of the country. And these young suspects were brought to this court without any mob justice. They were invited, and the parents were found out, and they were actually arrested with one of the guardians who was with them. So the question of their safety does not arise at all. But in terms of Your Honor's concern about being in the country illegally now, these are minors. That's the whole point here. And until you make that inquiry to confirm how they are here, these are minors. They would have walked from Mogadishu to Nairobi, I don't know. They would have come here with their parents. This is an inquiry that will definitely come up. But a conclusion that they are in the country legally is also not tenable, considering that if you look at our immigration rules now, there has been a presidential directive that our African brotherhood has been cemented by the country allowing people to come here, and we get either 3 months visa and then they go back. So it's a whole complex issue that immigration will deal with. We cannot conclusively say here that they are in the country legally, especially considering they are hanging on to somebody. It is that somebody we must confirm that they are in the country improperly for us to conclude that the minors are also in the country legally. And that's an issue we can argue if this charge sheet were to be read. And on that basis, Your Honor, I urge the court to disregard the threats from the TPP that the minors are in the country illegally. According to Article 49 of our Constitution, Your Honor, everyone is presumed innocent until the TPP proves otherwise. These children would think that they are already guilty. In fact, were it not the good gesture from the National Police Service at Gigiri, who have taken care of them so well, I think the children would have already concluded they have been jailed for a week, at least at children's level. So, Your Honor, I urge the court to make any preliminary inquiry in court today about their guardians, and if it is satisfied these children have guardians, the children be released to their guardians. And then they come to, because the major interest is to charge them by the DPP. Major interest by this court is actually to prosecute the alternative process before charging. So it would be unfair that they are left incarcerated in police cells until either a report is produced or charging is done. That would really be unfair to them. You know, when we are talking about them going to school, keeping them even longer, again denies them the opportunity to find the correct school and then start at least doing their tuition. So keeping them in police cells, Your Honor, is not an alternative in the circumstances. Releasing them could be a superior right in the process of justice. That she will have no objection to release of children. The probation officer has not said anything because she hopes to comment after she has brought in her report.
Nada, tampoco, pues, la cosa es que digo. country.
Yes, Your Honor. That is correct position. The Migration Act now allows them to, that is what has happened after the presidential proclamation of citizens from Africa, I think apart from Libya or Egypt, to visit Kenya. They received the entry visa. I suspect that is the visa, but I can let the immigration people confirm that. I cannot try to lead that explanation. It is stamp, okay? I believe that is what is required for visiting the country.
There has to be some sort of a permit.
But I'm not sure that is true. Your Honor, if you would be kind to give us 5 minutes, I can reconfirm this information when we come back. But what I know is where a visa is not required, like when you go to South Africa from Kenya, even before Kenya opened the borders.
Does that allow you to stay there indefinitely?
No.
Exactly. So where is that document that limits the period when you're supposed to stay?
Yes, I think the immigration office would be better placed, Your Honor. I'm not expert on that. Immigration office should be able to confirm whether was this stamped.
Because I'm looking at this one document. It was stamped last year, November.
Yeah. No, that.
We are now in October of this year. For September of 2025, it's neither an entry nor an exit. It means this stamp was made pursuant to an application that was made. An application that was submitted, probably prolonged still.
Yes, sir.
That is my question.
Yes, Your Honor. Can I plead with you to make an application for an adjournment for 10 minutes so that you can get the exact information? So I don't mislead the court. I don't submit what is not mine.
And you have requested 10 minutes.
Thank you. For which confirm what we obtained. Your Honor, on September 2025, any migration has allowed us and Deco Muhidin, the mother to.
Your Honor, with your kind permission, will I address you?
And they give me a few minutes. I have a matter in open court.
Hassan Deco Muhidin. Your Honor, the endorsement on the visa section, endorsement referred to stroke 2M/M. Has dated 26th September 2025, Your Honor. 26th of September 2025. You had shown it to me, Your Honor, earlier. And the question was on what basis that visa is issued, which appeared like the one I have. Yes, Your Honor, this is the visa provided by the Kenya Immigration. I have since confirmed that the KP stroke, I don't know whether that's KP or KM, Kenya Immigration Office, stroke 2M, that is 2 months visa issued and extended to Hassan Deco Muhidin. Hassan Deco Muhidin is the mother to the 13-year-old Muhidin who is proposed to be charged by the DPP. Your Honor, the next passport you have relates to the mother of Ibrahim, and that passport has a valid visa now, but only entered into the country on 30th of September. She is the mother to Ibrahim.
That is September or 1st of October?
1st of October. Yes, Your Honor, yes, it's actually dated valid from 30th of September to 28th December 2025. That is the passport for the mother of Ibrahim. Yes, Your Honor, we are in court's discretion, but I have since also, just for the court's information, I have since realized, since learned that the second mother of the second subject has come to the country because of this case. But the first one has come to the country.
Yeah. She's been here for a while, based on the children officer's report.
No, I'm talking about this particular passport for Farah Hassan Mahmoud. Ifra Hassan Mahmoud. The information I have is she entered on 30th or 1st of, just 2 days ago. That's the information I have. If the passport shows anything else, she's in court, she may wish to clarify. But the information they're giving me is that she has come in because of her son's predicament, and the son is staying with an uncle who has been hosting them until now, together with the Muhyiddin person who stays with the mother. So this is just the information I got. If the court wishes to clarify better, it is definitely allowed to. But the persons they stay with are having correct papers. One has a Kenyan ID, one has a valid passport, and the two could be the proper bond and guarantors for the subjects, once the court makes that right.
Look at that page.
Yes, Yana, this is page 5. Immigration to Kenya, November 2024.
That is exit and entry.
Yes.
Exit from Somalia, Mogadishu, entry to Kenya.
And back.
Where is the back?
No, you're saying entry from 14th November, Yana, and this is 24th of November? Oh, this is entry. I agree. And these are 2 entries, I don't understand.
Yeah. Those passports are not communicating what.
Yeah.
Because if I look at it, just go back to the page I was talking about. Go back to the page.
Yes, Yana.
If you go back to that page,
Yeah.
if I'm to use there's something you were explaining when you were telling me about the numbers
Yes.
on top.
Yes,
You see
Yana.
the numbers on top?
Yeah.
There are some numbers, then stroke.
No, yes.
3M stroke something.
Yana, the passport
Look at the entry.
the passport you're giving me.
I want you to work with what I'm giving you so that
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
you explain something.
Yes, Yana.
Yeah,
KP.
At a date in 2024.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
There's entry.
Yes, there's entry on 24th of November,
Okay.
2024.
Look at the writings on top of that term.
KVP 3M.
3M.
Yes,
What would that mean?
we suggest 3 months stay.
Okay. So then show me something that extended that when that period lapsed from September on that passport.
Yes. So as to endorse this one.
Before we get to
This
that is 2025.
Yes, Your Honor.
We have a whole year.
Yes.
The authorization was for 3 months.
Yes.
So where is the endorsement that was done after the 3 months lapsed?
I agree on that I do not have. I do not know. But
Anything that shows where this person has been
Your Honor, it's
the
true.
whole of this period.
Can I just make my submissions, Your Honor? From my position where I'm seated, we are trying to prosecute the minors issue. But you see, this is the passport for the adult who is in court.
The adult you want me to release the children to. So
Yes,
I
yes.
should be able to account for their whereabouts for me to be sure that come this day that I will give,
Yes, Your Honor.
I will have my children in court.
Yes, Your Honor. That's why we are saying they have an understands both of them. Understands the 2 ladies and he is in court. And then because this is a deep inquiry relating to an immigration issue, Your Honor, I would sort of brush through these when I'm not giving effectual and correct information. I was only limiting myself to
I
that.
thought that's why we took the break.
Yes, Your Honor.
We took the break for you to explain to me exactly that.
Yes. No, Your Honor. No. In terms of once I see a part, once I see this stamp, Your Honor, that there is a valid visa, then the right question, or sorry, not the right question, Your Honor, I'm sorry, the right person to answer this code correctly, then would be an immigration officer. In terms of the gap between November last year and current.
Let me get that report first for me to be able to get the right answer. I need to get that report first for me to get the right answer. Because based on the documents that I am seeing, I'm not getting, it's not self-explanatory. There's a lot that I cannot explain. A lot appear to have happened and I cannot explain it. Okay, so from September of 2024, I cannot explain how that person appearing in that passport has been here. I can only see an endorsement for September of 2025. So I cannot tell whether they left, came back, they've been here. I can't.
Yeah.
If I'm to base on that passport alone, I would presume they've been around all along because I cannot see an exit.
Yes, sir.
But then I would then query on what basis have they been here post when the first endorsement ended.
Yeah, I agree entirely, Your Honor. We will let your discretion prevail. But in terms of inquiring into the children's presence in the country, then again, it will be your it's within your jurisdiction to inquire into their presence in the country.
That is not my work. It's the ODPP to prove their charge. It's the ODPP to prove their charge. That's their work. My role was only to determine to whom I can release these children, if that was possible.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Your Honor, there are persons who have come to you, but you have only focused on the one who traveled just the other day. But there are 3 persons in court who are willing to vouch for this young people.
Who are these other persons?
There's an uncle here, Abdallah, and there is the mother and another person.
No, they can give me the documents so that I see whether I can give them the children. Abdullah, how are you? Okay, so you want to stand in for who? Both of them.
Yes, they're married. And the thing also is my cousin from my mother.
Explain that using English. The cousin of your mother is who to you?
He's my brother.
Okay. So, are you staying with them?
Yes.
They are staying with who specifically?
I think he stays small. Also, is learning from his kid. Also, same question. Same question.
So, Muhdin is staying with his mom. Or is the mom staying?
Yes.
What does she do? What does she do for a living?
She's coming here on medical for almost 1 year something.
So, she's been doing something. What has she been doing?
Also,
So, amekuwa kikato. She's not been doing any work. Ibrahim. Anakuwa nani? Brother ya nani?
Same father, actually.
Would that be an uncle? Miss Martin, is that an uncle?
I have a
Or you
proposal,
want-
Your
or
Honor,
you
so
want
that we
following
move
this
forward. I
conversation?
am. What is the purpose of a preliminary inquiry? It will be to check whether the boys are remorseful, whether they've gone back to school, who they are staying with, and their well-being. So I feel that their relatives should regularize the status. And then when we come back for PI, we can maybe divert and have the children released to their legitimates.
I think she took the whole different trajectory. Joanna, you're asking whether
No.
she's an uncle, he's an
I
uncle.
want to first answer that question.
It's to get the children of the criminal justice system.
Good. It's to look for an alternative other than,
The criminal justice system.
okay? And if now that alternative is not viable, then
Prosecute.
good.
Now the question, Joanna, is he an uncle or what is he? That was your question. I think that should be closed. The children have a person they can be released to, and what is their relationship with that person? For that, I have, Fiona, returned the answer that yes, their mothers are here in Nairobi. They are on visitor's visa, but they are as well staying with an uncle who is in court and is a Kenyan himself. You know, I think it would be within your discretion and powers to actually release them to the uncle as prayed while we proceed to this inquiry by the authorities.
On cash bill, the court notes that there is an allegation that the subjects are in the country illegally. This is a serious offense that has a target on their future attendance to court. However, the law also presumes the innocent until proven guilty. Noting that guardians are present here in court, and there are also other relatives who are willing to watch for them and confirm their attendance, I allow their release. And they will be released on cash bill of 50,000 each, plus 2 sureties. One of the sureties must be a Kenyan citizen. The 2 sureties are to be verified by the court. The matter will be mentioned on 8th of October.
Thank you, Your Honor.